What's up YouTube, Capital G here, checking out an amazing new piece of Trickstar support that just got revealed, coming out in the next Duelist pack, aka Legendary Duelist for us in the TCG. This is out of the Light Legendary Duelist pack, and I think that this is the last Trickstar card that we're getting. And when I woke up, everyone was buzzing over this card. People were like, WTF, Cap G, this card is broken, it's cracked, why would they give it as a fact, etc, etc. And I wasn't sure if it was your Yu-Gi-Oh, your standard overhyping or hyperbole, exaggerating, etc, etc. And then I read the card and I was like, oh damn, this card kind of nuts. And I think I'm starting to be like, yeah, people weren't overselling or overhyping this card. I think that it has the appropriate level of hype. And by the way, I apologize for people who have been looking for card review content on this channel, because that's something that I constantly get asked about. But it's always been difficult as a Yu-Gi tuber when Konami drops like 13 cards for an archetype to put them all in one video and know exactly how I feel about them, etc, etc. But when it's like one really interesting or good card, or maybe even like legacy support that's like 4 or 5 cards, like what Madoche got in Infinite Forbidden, that changes how the deck can play or some of its plays, etc., it becomes a lot easier to produce. So, I do apologize for that. But as we get closer to Rage of the Abyss, which is the next core set after Infinite Forbidden, or the next deck building pack, I will be putting out more review content. Anyways, let's go ahead and check out some new Trickstar support, which is also Marincess support for those of you who play Marincess. And if you're wondering the connection between Trickstar and Marincess, it all has to do with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains anime series, which I absolutely love. It's related to Aoi Aizen. She's the girl who plays Trickstar, and she plays Marincess in the anime. Maybe you've heard the name Blue Girl, Blue Maiden, Blue Angel? Yeah, that's the last one. She's all those characters, and she's herself as well. And she plays Trickstar for like the first couple of seasons. Then she gets to Water, Ignis, Aqua, and then all the Ignis archetypes are Cybers, like Salamangreat and stuff like that. So she switches to a Water Ignis deck, which is Marincess. Anyways, this is Trickstar Aqua Angel. Again, the Aqua comes from her partner in the anime series. It's a water level 4 fairy monster. The stats are 0/0, but they're largely irrelevant. This card is always treated as a Marincess card. So this is literally a Marincess support card for you Marincess players out there. First and third hard once per duels. Effect number 1, if you control a Trickstar or Marincess monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or the graveyard, which obviously has always been good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Second effect, link monsters that point to this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Third effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as link material, and this is the effect that everybody's been going crazy over, you can look at your opponent's hand and all their set cards, which obviously, especially going first, is absolutely incredible. I mean, generally speaking, there's a lot of cards on the FNL list in the ban section that have that sort of effect that let you look at your opponent's entire hand. Think Confiscation, think, the Forceful Sentry or Trap Dust Shoot, a Pointer of the Red Lotus, etc., etc. Those cards will all take a card out of your opponent's hand, but the information is honestly, it's arguably just as important. And let's talk about that effect, because that's the effect that people are going crazy over. I think what Konami intended on with that effect is basically for you to be able to not have to like shotgun Trickstar Reincarnation, for you to know exactly when you want to get rid of your opponent's hand and give them a new hand. However, that's probably not what this card's going to be used for in 2024. Like, let's be real. The best way to use this effect is probably to dodge hand traps, to know exactly what your opponent has, especially in a deck like Marincess, because Marincess has notoriously struggled with Nibiru the Primal being exactly that card. That card can wreck them, and really their only counterplay is to go into an early Bahamut Shark, which gets you totally awesome to try to play around it, which, by the way, side note, this card is one half of that Bahamut Shark. And a deck like Marincess that already can make Bahamut Shark, this is a level 4 extender that lets you just go into Bahamut Shark. I mean, you won't get to look at your opponent's hand, but you still get to make that Toad, which is nice. Anyways, now you can just look at your opponent's hand. Oh, you don't have the Nib? Cool. I'm playing Marincess. I can now go balls to the wall because I don't have to worry about playing around Nib. And Marincess also, when you end on the Argonaut, which is your link 4 that has the spell and trap negate, now you get to look at your opponent's hand and basically know exactly what to negate. Oh, your opponent doesn't have talents? Cool. I don't have to worry about being punished by that. oh, your opponent is playing Snake Eye, and they open with a brick hand, and maybe they only have the wanted poster. Usually if they throw that out there, you might not negate it because you're like, man, they got like 4 other cards. I don't want to get hit by droplets or get talents. But now you can just be like, oh, well, I know your hand. Your hand's a bunch of bricks and, 2 hand traps. I'm just going to go ahead and negate that, and then, you don't have any plays, etc., etc. So this card is absolutely amazing in that regards for Marincess. For Trickstar, I think the first effect, being able to summon from the graveyard, will be kind of useful because Trickstar are most certainly going to start playing Trickstar Fusion. It's so weird that Trickstar is a link-based deck that never really like spam their link monsters. that's obviously like the route Konami wants them to go into. But yeah, now with Trickstar Fusion, you can fuse with this card and not have to worry about taking any negs because you could just reborn it from the graveyard, then link with it, look at your opponent's hand, know exactly what they have coming up, whether you need to reincarnation them or how you want to use your disruptions, etc., etc. I think the second effect is probably going to be more important in Marincess because Marincess can end on Argonaut, and I think that she makes you specifically attack. She makes your opponent specifically attack her. Now, I'm not sure if she needs like a monster at her link point or what, but I know she has an effect that makes them attack her only. And if you have, obviously her having like battle immunity, she's going to be pretty damn difficult to kill, especially if you know exactly what your opponent's hand is and you got a spell and trap negation on top of her. So honestly, I don't know what more to say about this card. This is like one of those cards that's an absolute 10 out of 10. It's very good that it's such a powerful card that it's just locked into a couple of archetypes. If you play Trickstar, if you play Marincess, this is an automatic include in both decks. I think the question is how many of them you want to run because, your effects are hard once per duel. So you're only getting to resolve those effects once, but it being an extender, it letting you look at your opponent's hand to know what they have, to, know what hand traps to play around. Absolutely phenomenal card. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always.